Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Let's Talk Real Estate Investing. In this series, we chat to real estate investors and experts in the real estate investing field to help empower you to build your personalized real estate investing strategy. Now, before we get started, I just want to ask that if you enjoy seeing these podcasts, please hit that like button and also subscribe so that you can get notifications whenever a new one is out. My name is Debbie Balfour. I'm a real estate investor and I'm a real estate investing success coach. I coach real estate investors to build your personalized real estate investing strategy and your systems around that personalized real estate investing strategy so that you can scale efficiently and start enjoying not just the financial freedom that comes with real estate investing, but also the time freedom that comes with building your systems and processes. We're all unique, so therefore our strategies should be unique. I'm really excited today to introduce my guest, Jan Carmanico-Reeves, our special guest on the topic of setting goals. Jan is first and foremost, from her perspective, is she is a proud mother of two independent, integral, and environmentally conscious and hardworking professional young women. Just like myself, and anyone that knows me, my kids are my greatest accomplishment in life, and so are Jan's kids to her. She believes in living life to the fullest and to also say yes to opportunity to learn something new through education or by experience, and that will create a lasting memory. So before we go any further, I want Jan to talk a little bit about expand on your bio a bit more for us, Jan, and also then we'll get into your journey in real estate investing.
Oh, thank you, Debbie. Great to be on and chat with you again today. It's always a pleasure to see you and talk with you. So I am, as Debbie said, Jan Carmanico-Reeves, and I'm on a mission to make real estate investing fun, easy, and profitable. So yes, my daughters, who are now grown and both professional young women, are my most proud accomplishment, I guess, in life. Yeah, anyways, enough about them. I think I embarrass them when I talk too much about them. Right?
Mine do
Uh,
too.
right? Yeah. Um, I am a lifelong learner and a lifelong entrepreneur. So I've shifted over the last about 6 years into real estate investing while still running my other business. Started out with no education, but just, as a business, you learn as you grow. You have a plan in mind, but then got education, mentoring, coaching, networking. A community is so very important to scale your business and just to keep investing in yourself, in your education and systems, processes, talking to other people about how they're doing and learning how to leverage one asset to get into another and rinse and repeat, and then eventually to bring in partners so that you can scale into larger projects.
So, Jan, tell us just a Cole's Notes version about your journey in real estate investing so far.
Okay, so I'm, I guess, a third generation real estate investor when it goes back to, but I'm the first one really to scale it. So my grandfather in Ottawa owned a business, a restaurant in Little Italy, and which had apartments above it and behind it, and also owned the house next door. My dad owned a 12 unit back in the 80s and wanted me to get into investing at that time. And I'm like, I was a teenager and I'm like, why would I? Yeah. Anyways, hindsight's 2020, right? So I guess I knew I needed, because I'm an entrepreneur. I don't have a pension.
Mm-hmm.
Became a single mom and was busy, getting my girls through life, keeping them in their activities and piano and dance and swimming lessons and post-secondary education, all those things. And then all of a sudden it was like, ooh, there's a lot of candles on that birthday cake. I need to really start looking at what I'm going to do for a retirement plan now that they're taken care of. So I bought my first property without really knowing anything, a student rental. Got a private mortgage, uh, used a line of credit and a 0% balance transfer investment card to as the down payment and to close the property. So none of my own money. And this is before education. Right? So yeah, I've learned along the way. I still own that asset. And then COVID lockdown. My other business is a salon. So COVID lockdown really taught me that you need to be able to pivot, diversify. So I took that time to really dive into education and learning about how to scale my portfolio and really how to do real estate investing properly. So yeah, that's when I bought a mixed use commercial with a 75% vendor take back mortgage. I refinanced my student rental to use as a down payment. Did a major renovation on that. I'm actually here right now, just meeting a new tenant that's coming in. So I've turned over all of the tenants in, I think we're at about 20 months right now, including the commercial tenants. Added another unit, separated utilities. So I've increased the value of the property significantly by increasing the NOI. Yeah. So I'm really pleased with that. And actually closed recently on another new build 6 unit that also has 2 garages that I'm renting out that the previous owner was using those. So that's creating an extra $600 a month in cash flow. But I got a second mortgage on my mixed use property to be able to close on this 6 unit new build. So in Ontario, new builds are especially lucrative because there's no cap on the rent increase, which in Ontario it's 2.5%. So that's really, really important. Plus the fact that, there's no capital expenditures in the foreseeable future. Tenants love them because everything's new and shiny. Insurance companies love them. So, and even with that one, so the owner's unit was empty, the 2 garages. Somebody had given their notice. So I said, yes, leave it empty. And there was a long-term tenant that, well, it's 2 years old. How long could it be? But there was a tenant there that had the lowest rent and his utilities included. 24 days, I got him to give notice. So, so that one is now fully rented again, and increased the value of that. And I only took a 2-year mortgage on that with the strategy that I'm going to refinance it. And again, the NOI is significantly increased already since closing. Plus the appraisal came back at 1.62 and the purchase price was 1,595.
Wow. So
Yeah,
you've got money in that deal already.
yeah. So it's rocking and rolling already. So and again, all these strategies, I mean, I have the business background, so it's easy to pivot into another business, but the education in learning how to do things in real estate investing is very, very, very important.
Definitely. So some key things that I thought that you said that I wanted to just quickly reinforce for people and explain is the first thing I heard you say was that you use your investment cards. So so what Jan means by that is from a consumer perspective, we look at those as credit cards. Right. So we have these credit cards and and we're a lot of people, you don't want to use it. You're afraid to use it, and we're taught in life, don't have credit is bad. However, when you're investing in real estate, credit is good because credit is something you're using to invest in. So she's renamed her credit cards to investment cards because it's not for consumer, it's for investing. And it gives her more power to invest in from that perspective. The other thing she said is vendor take back mortgage. Can you explain a little bit, just quickly, what a vendor take back mortgage is?
Sure, but and maybe to go back to the investment cards, as we know, there's good debt and bad debt. If you're
Mhm.
using your credit cards to purchase frivolous things and carrying a balance, that's bad debt. Good debt is using that credit to invest in something that's going to make money for you, right?
It's an asset, yes, and no,
Yes,
yeah.
yes.
Mhm.
So a vendor take back mortgage is the seller or seller financing. That's another term for it. The seller actually holds the mortgage on the property. So, which is good for them as well because they can defer their capital gains. Now, speak with your accountant to, to verify. But so I negotiated a 5-year vendor take back mortgage. So they would hold the mortgage for 5 years at 75% mortgage. And also within that 5 years, I negotiated 2 years of interest only payments, which allowed me the time to stabilize the property, to do the renovation. I'm not even at the 2 years yet. And I mean, it's already fully stabilized and increased the value substantially. So, and that was negotiated at 4% interest for
Nice.
5 years. So yeah, that was a really good one.
Yeah, that's great. So there are advantages on both sides of a vendor take back mortgage from the buyer's perspective. You can negotiate things like Jan said, and you're not going through a bank where you've got to worry about qualifying and all these different. So it's great there. But from the seller perspective, the seller sells their property. They get the money for their property, but instead of sitting that property, especially if this is like an estate sale or another investor, right? So they get the sale of the property plus they get the interest for the years that it's being held as a vendor take back. So they're making money on it instead of that money just sitting in the bank. So there are advantages on both sides, and I think that's the important part of explaining to your sellers, the advantage of a vendor take back, especially those like say an estate sale, right? Where
Mhm.
they're getting it to get the money. Well, hey, you not only get the money,
You want more money?
but you get more money.
Yeah, yeah.
Or
And
someone retiring. Right?
right, right.
So
And I mean,
and
worst case
downsizing.
scenario, if I was to default on the mortgage, they get the property back that they already know,
That they
right?
know and love because it
Yeah,
was their
and
home.
and keep
Mhm.
the down payment. So it really is a great strategy for somebody that's selling. Much easier to negotiate. This one was off market,
Mm. Yes.
right? So when
Yeah.
when you're going through a realtor and the sellers have a realtor and the seller is not familiar with a vendor take back mortgage, it's much more difficult to convey the message.
And a lot of realtors aren't also familiar with it.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct. Yeah.
So yeah, but when you're able to sit down and speak to that seller yourself and explain, and then you also mentioned there are tax advantages
Yes, there
to
are.
doing that
Yes,
because you can defer,
check with your accountant.
but check with your accountant. Yeah, definitely. So yeah, so those were great. But I love too that another strategy that you used now recently was to take equity from an existing property then now recycle that and purchase another one. So you're able to, scale using equity you've made on another property and then purchase the other. So these creative financing, like, um, I don't want to quote a certain bank what it is, but I love their saying that you're richer than you think because
Yes,
there are opportunities for you to finance a lot of the stuff yourself at times. For some people, you just have to really like sit down and see all the things that you have and be creative with that financing. So,
Right. And that's what I've been speaking about recently is creative financing, right?
mhm,
Yeah. Which is what I've done with all my properties. Being an entrepreneur, it's difficult to go to the bank because I don't have T4 income.
yes.
So essentially I've dealt with that all my life.
So yeah, but yet it has not stopped you
I
from
I haven't let
investing.
it stop me. No.
Yeah, that's it.
No.
And then you are also purchasing commercial.
Correct. Yeah.
So, yeah. So commercial doesn't, I mean, there are some guarantees that's
Yes, they still
right,
want a personal guarantee,
guarantee on
but
it.
it's the lenders are really looking more at the asset and the income that it generates.
Excellent. Yeah,
Mhm.
definitely. So let's talk a bit more about you, Jan. So you've done this like some amazing things so far, and that you've quickly walked through with us. So what are your goals for this year?
Okay, so I actually I need to do a video about this. Last year I announced that I wanted to help other people who were not investors be able to passively invest in real estate
Mm-hmm.
because not you don't know what you don't know, right? Um, and not everybody has had the opportunity to be able to get the education and really dive into how you can make money in real estate investing. And you and I both know there's like thousands of
Oh,
ways that
yes.
you get, right?
Thousands of permutations that
Yes, yes, from all different kind of angles.
mm-hmm.
So my major goal for this year is to help at least 10 non-investors to get into investing into real estate and start their generational wealth, start, passive income for to boost their retirement income. Um, I just feel like we have all this knowledge and I just want to share it with everybody and help other people to be able to make money without dealing with tenants and toilets, without, having to know all these creative finance strategies, without having to find off market properties and put deals together creatively and all those kind of things, but just to be able to use it as an investment tool to really give them a great return on their money, as opposed to putting it in a locked in GIC and getting 3.5%, with all kinds of fees that are hidden. So I guess that's my number one goal for this year. My number two goal is really get organized. We were talking about that a little bit and add to my systems because as you scale, you need more systems in place
Mm-hmm.
to be
Definitely.
able to, run your business
Awesome.
productively.
So how do you now talking about your goals, how do you decide what your goals are? Like when do you make that decision? How do you like talk me through the whole process, your mindset, the things that you do to start coming up with those goals and setting them?
Okay, so I start thinking about them in December. Of course, we all know December is a very busy month for, many reasons and celebrations and different things. So I start the process going January 1st every year for years and years and years and years and years. I have sat down and wrote a list of 10 things that I wanted to accomplish that year, whether it was trips or personal growth or things, renovations around the house, whatever it was, just
Mhm.
a list of at least 10 things. 3 years ago, um, I started with this amazing journal that I found on Amazon, and it breaks it down into daily, quarterly, annually, and it also has reflections. So you reflect daily, you reflect weekly, you reflect quarterly, and you reflect annually. And it's amazing. I started January 1st, and I'm still working on it. I work on it probably for the first month because it's pretty expansive actually. There's it's not 10 things that you want, it's 100 things that you want, and then it breaks down all your goals
Mm.
of health and fitness, personal development, financial goals, all different kind of categories, and breaks them into what you want, why you want them, what's your process going to be, and how will it benefit you if you attain your goal, which is fabulous. And it's like I said, it's not just business.
It's personal. It's you.
It's all the
It's
aspects of
holistic,
your life,
right?
including business,
Mm-hmm.
but it's really, really well rounded. And I have some gel pens all in different colors. So I have different colors for, like my personal things, for health, for property management, for education, for, you know what I mean? So just with a quick view, I can see if there's too much of one color that I need to balance it out with, another color.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is my third year running using that tool. And this is the first year that I put out, one of the questions is, and I've never filled it out, this was the first year, is ask 5 people to describe you and what they think of you. So I put it out there that I don't know why, maybe it was a mind block I was afraid to ask, but
Like, what are
so
they gonna tell me?
I know,
Myself,
I
yes.
know exactly. Anyway, so I did put it out this year, and I was really humbled with how the feedback I got of how people describe me as very hardworking and determined and caring, and um yeah, just from friends to my daughters to business
Mhm.
partners, and it was really
Well, Jen, that journal, if you can share that link with me, and then I will share it with others
sure.
of where they can find it. That
Yeah,
sounds great because I think I may be purchasing that right away myself.
it really is fabulous. I don't know.
Don't worry about it now. We'll
Okay,
we'll
I'll
we'll
send it to
send it
you.
to me
Yeah.
after, and we'll
Yeah,
put
no,
it
it's
into
a
the.
fabulous journal. And I found it, I'm not sure if it was the manifestation. Anyways, it was a few years ago, and they were selling a journal, but they were sold out. And I thought, okay, I really like it. And it came from the States and you had to wait. And I thought, well, that's silly. I don't want to wait. I want to start it
Let's
in
just get
January.
Amazon Prime and have it
Yeah,
delivered.
it was on Prime. It was there in 2 hours. Anyways, yeah, it's a great journal. And like I said, I've bought the identical one 3 years running.
Awesome. So yeah, we'll share that with the
Yeah.
audience. We get that. That's great. That's wonderful. So tell me, how do you hold yourself now that you've set these goals? And we talked about it some, how you're accomplished, how you've the process around it. How do you hold yourself accountable to getting those, to making sure you achieve those goals?
I think review, constant review. I also have a task habit tracker.
Okay.
So, you list, I don't know, I think there's about 20 things in there daily that simple, can be, am I drinking enough water? Have I eaten fruits and vegetables? Did I do my yoga? Did I fill in my gains journal? All those kind of things.
Mhm.
Um, yeah, so just I think for me, pen to paper is really crossing things off, checking things off. It's not the same doing it in an app or, you know, on your Google Calendar or whatever it is. To me, I've
You
always
like
been
that tactical pen and
yeah,
paper.
very tactical. Yeah,
Mhm.
list maker. Pen and paper. That's my thing, tactical.
Yeah. It is a nice feeling going, done,
Yep.
done, done,
Yeah.
putting lines across it and
Yeah.
scratching it out, or yeah.
Yeah.
It is a
Yeah, because
good thing.
even in apps, if you have a list and then you delete it, then you think, was that on my list? And I know there's different ways to do it, but to me,
Yeah.
I'm very visual, very tactical. And yeah, I like to see that list and just check it off,
Well, I'll have to show you Asana some more, Jan, because in Asana, it doesn't go away. It just marks as
Yeah,
complete.
check it.
But
Yeah.
but there's certain times when a little like unicorn or something like that comes
Oh, is
across your
that right?
screen. Yeah, it goes,
Like,
and you're like, oh, you're like, I can't
yay.
wait to make more done so I can see that unicorn again.
Yeah, oh, that's fun. That's fun.
So, so apps do make it a bit gamified. It can
Yeah.
make it a bit fun for you. So,
Mhm.
awesome. Do you ever like tell other people what your goals are to help you make it real or to help hold you more accountable to it? Or is it, or do you just, it's ingrained in yourself?
Somewhat. I would, quite honestly, Debbie, I would love an accountability partner. I have been connected with two different ones, and unfortunately, they weren't um yeah, they didn't see it through. As I would
Mm.
check in every meeting and blah blah blah. I think an accountability partner is great. Just somebody who's as committed as I am, I guess,
As you are. So
to
that is the important part, is having
Mhm.
someone that's just as committed, that holds each other
Yeah,
accountable
yeah.
on them. So, hey, I'll be your accountability partner. Let's
Okay, that's awesome. We
because
can
we
talk
seem
more about
to
that.
have very similar goals for this year. So
Yes. Yes, we do.
so let's do that. That sounds good. So what would be your top tip for others when it comes to setting goals and sticking to those goals?
Really, taking the time to sit down and make the goals, whether it's, in however you do it, through an app or um and then revisiting them. A a really great thing that I've learned is quarterly reviews, because then it's like having a new year 4 times a year instead of just once a year, right? So
Mhm.
you're really pinpointing and making sure that you're sticking to your strategies and reviewing what's working, what's not working, what you need to maybe pivot a little bit on or adjust. Review. I think review is really important. And to break your goals down into smaller pieces. So it's not just, like
A monster. Yeah.
exactly, but what are your action steps that you're going to take? When are you going to take them? How, and then from those action steps, what do you need to have in place to be able to do that? Do you need access to whatever, right? But really breaking things down into little bite-sized pieces and baby steps. So, and then be able to see, yeah, okay, so I did that little step, that little step, that little step. Now I can do this step, and
It
so on
does
and so
feel
forth.
more fulfilling as you can, like you said, as you can cross things off and you can see, yeah. Because even like you just think about going from, one floor to another, you need steps in there. Or else how do
Absolutely.
you don't just like leap from one floor to another when you're walking upstairs. It just,
And yeah, and
yeah,
it's
so
not as
same thing in life.
overwhelming, right? Like
Yeah.
it's just make sense, like break it down to make sense. Okay, well, I need to start here, so then I can do this, so then I can do that, so then I can do that to get to this result that I want to get to in this time frame.
Well, speaking of results, do you celebrate when you any of your achievements or
I do, not as much as I should, but I do. Yes.
what are some of the things you do to celebrate?
um Quite often I'll go shopping. Yeah. A new pair of shoes, or a new,
Yeah.
um, something maybe a little more frivolous than, um, a nice bottle of wine. It, take some time. A favorite thing of mine to do is a hot tub. Just, take some me time, and I
So
don't
me
do that
time, yeah.
often enough. And just like, okay, I've been working, really hard. I've got this done and this done on a night off, right? And
Mhm.
just relax and little self-care.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, celebrating doesn't have to be anything huge, but it's just, I think this is something I always tell my clients is celebrate the little wins, right? And the big ones. Don't just wait for the big ones to come along when,
Right.
you do everything you set out to do this week. Well, then, okay. And yeah, and then self-care is something like that, or go out for a nice dinner, or, do something small, but it's just that it's a reward for yourself, and
Yes.
acknowledge that accomplished that goal that you were setting, whether it's something weekly, or a bigger one, but
Yeah.
definitely, yeah. Mine's definitely, with my family, since the kids were young too, it's like every time they did well on a test, or it was always, okay, let's go out. We're,
Yes. Yes.
we're going out for a meal, to celebrate this has happened, or, it's anything like
Yes,
that. So,
yes, and we always did that too with my girls, the piano recital, and after we would go out, or a dance recital, or great report cards, all those kind of things.
mhm.
Um, yeah, it's a little more difficult by myself, to take myself out for a meal or something, right? But
So think about those. This is another thing I tell my clients is that as you're doing your goal setting, right in there, what is, like, plan ahead what it is that your reward will be,
yes, that's a good idea.
your celebration will be.
I'm kind of been rewarding myself with bigger prizes. I guess I've been traveling, right? So,
Oh, that's a nice
yeah,
reward. Yes.
right. So, I mean, all through my whole career, it was hard for me to take time off work. And so I've taken the opportunity. Now they are real estate related, events. But in places like Greece and Spain and Italy, and I'm going in February on a cruise, and you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So that's bigger rewards, I guess, for taking the time off, for working, accomplishing what I've done.
And they're tax deductible.
And they're business trips.
Business
And
trips.
I'm investing in myself.
That's
Going
a
to
nice thing about real estate, as if you can connect the two, like you're able to do those dream holidays, and also,
Absolutely.
look, if you're there looking at investments, you've got some deductibles there.
And they're with people that I love, like I love being around like-minded individuals, and
Yeah.
I just love how they think. I love, they're talking real estate investing. Like I love all this, and the education. There's always, education involved with it, right?
Yeah,
And
learning from
I
other
just love
people's
all of that. So,
journeys, and things. I know that definitely conversations with real estate investors, when I have them, there it's just like we've known each other for years. Even though they, I mean, many of them are just virtual that I've gotten to
right.
know people, but I can't get off the calls with
I
them.
know.
I have to, like, go. We gotta go. We just gotta go.
I
We've
know.
been on here for 2.5 hours.
I know. I just want to talk with people all day long, every day too. It just fills my soul too. Yeah,
Definitely. So yeah, that's the wonderful part about the real estate investing community that I found. And but I think it's in anything that, if you find like-minded people, like you said, that you will, it becomes more than just a business conversation. You find your tribe, people that think like you, and
exactly. Yeah, and it's not
definitely
just about real estate investing. It's just the
the
open-minded.
mindset.
The
yeah,
mindset, yeah,
is the
the
same.
positive mindset, the creative mindset,
The
the
abundance mindset,
abundance mindset.
yeah, the
Yeah,
positive part, like you
yeah,
have these
yeah,
people going being negative all the time around you.
absolutely,
So yeah,
absolutely. That's
definitely.
why I love I love the vibe.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Awesome. So some great tips that you've told us. I love the idea of that journal. So you'll
I
share with me that link, and we'll put it into the podcast. We'll edit it in a slide, but we'll also put it into like the comments where these are posted on there. The setting of like really journaling all those things that you really want in your life, and then breaking them down to all the little achievable, all the steps that is needed to get there, and then tracking it. And I love the quarterly reviews and how are you going with those goals around there. And I'm going to add in my part about when you accomplish those goals, even if it's weekly or however you want to do it, really, do some sort of celebration for that. It could be, I get to sit down with a glass of wine tonight.
yeah.
It could be even something as small as that, but, celebrating those also makes it, more real, helps you to want to now do the next one and keeps you accountable. I like what you said about an accountability partner. Like getting an accountability partner will also help you get outside yourself, because for lots of us, it's easy to say, oh, well, that wasn't that important, or, to downplay what you had planned, or, that's okay, I can push it off. But when you have somebody else that's driving you, that you've now, put it out there, you don't want to disappoint, like look like a failure to someone else, right? So having an accountability partner is another great way, but tracking it. And if you're a tactical person like Jan, like your pen and paper, then do it on a pen and paper. If you're someone that loves your phone, right, then get an app and do it in your app. But making it trackable, and you know, going forward with
Accountable
that.
to yourself, I guess,
Yes.
first and
I think
foremost.
that's the main thing, is that um we are, we have to learn to be accountable to ourselves.
Hmm.
So it's and I love that journal asked for what are the results you're going to get from this
Hmm.
goal, because it keeps you, what do you want to achieve at the end, like what will life look like after this goal. I think that makes it more real.
Right.
It's like you're creating your why, but in a
Well,
smaller form.
I think to go with that too, it's not really about per se the goal. It's more about the person that you're becoming as you're working towards that
Towards
goal,
that
right?
goal. Yeah.
That's the most
Yeah.
important thing.
Hmm. And how does that goal track back to your why?
Hmm.
And that's where you were saying that there it's like categories, like
Hmm.
health and those kind of things. So what are your whys? And then if it's your family, your health, your business, etc., like what are those things, and tracking it back to that.
Yeah.
So amazing tips, Jan. You've got me. I was already energized to get going, but you've got me even more energized in my goal setting and being organized. So thank you so much for coming. This is your second time on the podcast. I really appreciate it. You always have so much to add to it, and we will share your contact information. We'll edit that in. Can you just quickly just share though how people can contact you?
Um, Facebook Messenger, honestly, I'm on all the time. I'm I'm on all social media, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn. Um, yeah, pretty well anywhere you can message me. I'm pretty active on
And you
social.
do have a live.
I
Can you
do.
share what that live is called and when and
Yeah, so I have the Millionaire Mindset Mondays Facebook group, And from that, every Monday night at 6 p.m. EST, I have a guest, which Debbie has been my guest previously on. And then it gets uploaded to my YouTube channel, which is Investing with Jan.
Excellent. So thanks so much, Jan. Really appreciate you being here. So many great tips for others, including your strategy that people can learn from of what you've done, your journey so far, to then put that into building their own strategy. So everyone, just a reminder, if you really enjoy this podcast and would like to see more, hit that like button for today's podcast and subscribe to the channel so that there are lots of already in there in the archives in the channel, but then you will also be able to get notifications when the newly published one is. And Jen, can you share your YouTube channel? Do you know what it is?
Yeah, it's Investing with Jan.
Investing with Jan. So you
Yeah.
can also, check out Jan's channel with all her podcasts and that
And
are on there.
Debbie as my guest as well.
Yeah. So, thanks everyone. Have a wonderful day.